Okay, I'm ready to show you more orbs. But first I want to show you a picture I have drawn that depicts a little bit, well, very crudely, what I see when I see with my third eye. This right here is, I see my nose when I look at the light. I see a portion of my nose, and it's usually very, very brilliant, like so many diamonds, but I couldn't make that appearance with the colors that I had. But what I see is a big old orb open up, and it seems to be stuff comes out of this third eye. Now, this third eye opens and closes with my own eye. When I squint, it goes together like that. And when I open up my eyes wide, it opens up wide. And I can see all these weird kind of little things. You can see they look like little squiggly worms or cords or little circles, all kinds of little things. And they just float sort of zigzag around in this big orb of a ball, and I see streaks of light coming from either side. It's like how we're looking in the center of what they call the torus, only my eye is the part that goes into it right down the center, and I can see things in there, and it flickers, and sometimes I don't see but a tiny portion of this whole round thing, and sometimes I see the whole round thing. And sometimes all of this sort of goes away, and I see colorful bubbles that just swirl one way and then swirl the other, like I were looking into a vortex. And the background behind these little tiny things is kind of a encrusted looking whiteness, like it's a lot of other of these little things, only way back in the background. Anyway, it's real watery, and it has many layers. And some of these things move zigzag-like, and some of them stay pretty stationary. And mostly it's circles and little tubes and just strange stuff. I don't know how to call it anything else. It doesn't look like anything that most people are familiar with. Now, I'm going to show you some of the orbs that I've been taking pictures of. Let me see if I can get this zoomed up real good. Now, orbs oftentimes have a dark spot, see, like right there? And you never know. See, there's a dark spot in this one. And it's behind a few other orbs where they cover over it. You can sort of see through one orb into this what's in another. And there's just circles galore, sort of like what I see with the third eye. Because I see a lot of these little white bubbles. They don't stay stationary. They seem to emerge and then go back down, like they're breathing tubes of something. I know that sounds weird, but that's what they look like. You might say it looks like clockwork. I'll show you up close in some of these how there are little tiny circles, and there's bigger circles, and anything that's in there has concentric circles around it. Just about all of them have concentric circles. Now, I'll go to the next one, and the next one. And you never know what the color scheme is going to be. This one had a lot of blue and green and orange in it. Now this little thing, I'll show you this. This thing right here, this is what I call an artifact. It's in my camera somehow. Sometimes it gets double exposed there. You can see it, but it's really just two joints to it. I call it the double jointed artifact. And then I have this little fairy looking thing, only it's pretty dark right now in this picture, so it doesn't look like a little fairy. I know that sounds weird, but that's just a name I've given to it. And there's several things in my pictures, like this thing always shows up. It looks like some of the residents of Orbs, but obviously this is something stuck in my camera because it's always in the same place. See, there's a double jointed thing right down here. I will go to it, and it's always to the bottom, to the right. And it's going to stay in that spot. But if it's dark, you know, if it's in the darker part, it won't show up at all. And all the orbs always have the little two eyes. No matter if there's 5 or 10 or even just one orb, if the colors are not too dark that you can't see them, there will be these two eyes. I call them eyes because they're placed close together, and see how they are right here. They're kind of right here. They're kind of dark, and I just can't think that that is something stuck in my camera, because how would it get on each orb in the same, almost the same exact spot on the orb? See, there's the two right here and this one. And there's two here, but the colors interfere so you don't see them. In some of these you'll notice them more. Like here's the two right here, the two eye things. And my little pea pod things that are a part of the inside of my camera now. Sometimes I think they're growing in there because they increase in numbers. I've got a few more things that I didn't have before. This is one of them, this thing right up here. That thing right there. That's something that shows up in every picture now, same as this one. But you never know where the little circles are going to be. You always know that the eyes are going to be in a certain spot. Like here they are in this one. They're a little more than halfway down and over to the right. That's where they always show up. It is so strange. Now see, there's several on this, and each one of them has, if you can see it, some of them are turned in such a way that you can't. But see this little one here, there's the two eyes. And there's the two eyes on that one, and over here on this one, and way up here on this one right here, there's two eyes. It's so strange. And there's my little thing I call a fairy. It's double exposed. I got two of it. But it looks like an image of a little fairy with wings. Not that I know whether there are really fairies with wings, but you know, the storybook picture of a fairy is what it looks like. This has many, because I was looking through something with a lot of, that made a lot of spots of light on it. And I'll go through these rather quickly because I want to get to the one that's a video. Now you see these, the colorations of them they differ from one orb to the next. Sometimes they differ drastically. Sometimes I get my camera goes too close in and they join borders. And then sometimes a part of an orb will do this sort of thing. It'll just break off into this dark. See this area right here? It's kind of dark, and yet there's kind of a reddish little curly stuff to that. And here's one that has that influence taken over it. Okay, I'm going to get out of here because there's so many real similar ones. I want to go toward where I have my, oh, I already know where it is. It's right here. This is a video that I took of these orbs. I'm moving around rather fast. I do slow up here a little bit and just concentrate on one or two of the orbs and go up real close in it, and you can see the little white bubbles. The little that in the still pictures are just a little white circle, but you see they're very active. It's like boiling. It's like if you were looking at water and it was boiling and the little bubbles come to the surface. So there's activity going on inside of the orb. And this is all around us. We're breathing this stuff in. It's in the air. It's in what we call empty space. And I personally believe that it's even smaller than the Higgs boson that they so recently have said they have found. One of the Ascended Masters said about the atom, they said, inside of the center of an atom is an electronic fireball. Well, that kind of looks like this, I think. See all the little bubbles coming to the surface in that one? Now, I do hold the camera with just my hand, so if there is a little movement of me not holding it steady. But yet, inside of these orbs, there's a lot of flickering and pulsing and vibrating going on because there's movement in there. And some of the brighter colors that you see now and then, they wave over the orb like it was a wave just passing over in maybe a higher dimension than what's under it. And the colors constantly are alternating from one color to another. When you look at something like this, and it's right there where you are, in the room where you are, it's like, okay. A lot of people have told me I'm getting light refraction, but they don't see what I see, because I can see this also with the naked eye, something similar to this, only a little different. I see a bigger panorama of things than when I see with the camera. It's always seen through an orb, you know, with a round circle around the edges of it. But there's activity in there. There's no doubt of that. There are so many experiments I want to do, but I need one other person to help me with this. Because sometimes you just need an extra pair of hands and eyes to help you with the experiments, because I want to do it with certain backgrounds of noise, and or maybe a band playing, or be at some place where a lecture is being given, and see if I pick up any things in the orbs that are in sync with all of that. Okay, I'm going to get this one down, and we'll go to, I'm going to take you out of my Picasa and to my channel, my YouTube channel. Okay, you could be a little faster. Okay, my channel. Okay, this is one, I don't know why YouTube fancies this one, but I'm going to turn the sound on this and let you hear it. It's a Ray Charles song, Hello Dolly, and I have a bunch of orbs in here. Uh-oh. Okay, now, I don't want it. Gotta get to my keyboard.
Oh, you got it.
I'm trying to get it off of here. Oh well, can't do it. I didn't want to play the whole thing. Oh, I know, I gotta get back out of big. That did it. Okay. Now, I will go to my channel, my video manager. And this is one I haven't shown anyone yet. I put it on private. Orbs coming from the light source, that's what I called it. I'll get it big. Turn off the voice to it because it wasn't much but the sound of motors, the fan in my room. You see how there's a little color cords that come up from the light? Really brilliant colors, and it shows here. The light source, you can see, is to the right there. And the orb comes right out of the light, rather teardrop shaped, and it's full of these little cords of color. This thing right here, let me, if I stopped it too soon. That little center right there, that's that light color. I see that all the time with the naked eye. But I see it in a vast array like a net. It reminds me of Indra's net of jewels. That might be sort of what I am seeing with the naked eye. But I say the naked eye, I think it's with the third eye. I think I partially have my third eye open, or opening. And it just shows me such a beautiful vision of what is in light. Some nights I just stare at the light and look at all the things it presents to me. Things of which I can't even draw a picture of because it's just too expansive and too intricate to even try. Every time I try, I just get frustrated. Now I'm going to take it, the focus in further so you can see what I'm using as a source of a light reflection. I always like people to see how I'm doing what I'm doing with the photography that I do. I think I'm going to do that. And I haven't looked at this one in a long while. I don't know if I do it here, but I do it in several videos I've made. I let you see the piece of glass. It's a glass candlestick or something like that that I'm using to get light to shine on. And it's the concentrated light that shines forth from something glass that makes this little photon of light travel through the glass in funny ways, showing the movement of a photon of light and the entanglement of it. And so many times I look at a video where they're talking about dark energy or what fills empty space, and I think I'm looking at it. I know there's a lot more experimentation I need to do with this. Little bubbles of light just always are coming to the surface. Okay. I was listening the other day to a video where the speaker was saying and describing the quantum world as taking us into a science that will take us to the center of ancient spiritual teachings. And he was talking about molecular wave functions. And he talked about how they were pure non-material forms. And he talked about Aristotle, talking metaphysically about all things being a mixture of matter and form, and that there is only one pure form, and that being God. And he also said, Meister Eckhart said, the visible things are out of the oneness of the divine light. Their existence in the empirical world is due to the actualization of their virtual being. And this is a virtual being, what I'm showing you here. The visible world comes out of subtle vibrations, waves or throbs of the divine. The wave of the ocean of consciousness, without which there is no consciousness at all. Then one speaker said, the Western mind thinks that it is impossible to accept the congruence of the physical, the spiritual, and the mental, that they all can tie together. They want to keep physical out of the spiritual. And they were talking about how we're ready to make a jump into a new human species. A lot of people are feeling that. It's sort of like a mutation of the human consciousness. And they talk of this mutation being something that can integrate incompatible opposites. And they also talk about how the mindset of classical science has driven our world into the crisis. Uh-oh, I'm off of the video. Let me see if I can find another one here. I love exploring light. Now see this, I'll start this one. I don't have the voice on though. Don't know that I want it on. Sometimes I sound so goofy. It doesn't seem to be going, does it? Go. Well, let me go to another one. Back in the day that I first saw these, I thought I was looking at orgone and tachyon, and I may be. Now this is an orb that looks just like a book. Now I took this picture when I was in Arizona visiting my friend Gerald. I get past all that talking I did there. See all the little circles? Now, this one looks really strange. It's all in an egg shape, and yet there's color and lines in it. Okay, I'm going to end this video right here because I've already reached 27 minutes. But I just wanted to share some of what I have been taking pictures of lately. I continue to investigate the orb, and I know these are orbs that I caused to be there because I know how to take a picture of them, but I think they're revealing something to me and to others too who might want to investigate this. It's real simple. All you need is a little digital camera and a light. It can be a LED light. That's the best one, I've found out. Or it can be the sunlight if you go out in the evening when the sun is lower in the sky. Because when it's really bright, like at high noon, you don't get very colorful orbs. So I will let you go. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is the Deaf Lady, over and out.